the Rangers Journal.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robert Hann. Welcome to the Rangers Journal today, the Rangers News. I'm here with Scott. Cammy, how are we today?
I'm good. It's Friday. Back to Ibrox tomorrow. So yeah, it's been funny because it's been quite a quiet week, but there's always plenty to talk about, So it's I'm looking forward to this as always.
Definitely. I think it's definitely been a quiet news week up until maybe the last 24, 48 hours. So I think with that we'll dive straight in. I think before we dive right into the Dave King stuff, I think we'll just give a shout out to the members and the subscribers. We reached the 2,000 subs mark on the page. We've only been going for around 7 months, so just to thank everyone, on behalf of myself and the Rangers Journal team. Thanks to everyone for subscribing. Keep that going. Share as well your pals. Make sure we get out there amongst the masses and keep that subscription number going up. So just want to say thanks everyone. Just at the top of the pod. But yeah, as you said, Cammy, the news over the last kind of 24, 48 hours was that Dave King's come out with another statement. Challenging the board to call EGM to essentially put themselves up for nomination for chairman of the club, and he will look to do the same. He also mentioned that the potential need for around £50 million worth of investment to bring us back in alignment to our competitive rivals in the league. So just get your thoughts on that first of all. We'll take it from there.
I struggle with the way Dave King goes about things at times. I think he loves a headline. Good for the media. Obviously feeds it out in the way that he's always done. I think that as often happens with Dave King, I think the truth lies somewhere in between. I find myself agreeing with a lot of what he's saying with regard to what has went on in recent years, poor decisions, etc. But headlines like £50 million. I mean, I've watched other and listened to other things even just this morning. People within the support sometimes hear 50 million and think we're going to spend £50 million. We're going to buy £50 million worth of players. That's not how it works. I often say, as an older Rangers fan, this isn't Football Manager. It doesn't work. You don't just spend 50 million on players, wave a magic wand, and everything's going to be okay. FFP, PSR, whatever you want to call it. We don't have that within the SPFL, but we do when we enter UEFA competitions.
Yeah.
It doesn't allow it. You see what happens down south. With Newcastle, they've probably got the richest owners out there, but they can't go scattergun buying players. It's all to do with your turnover and stuff. So I think a bit more detail would be needed. He speaks, I think one thing that's very clear is there's zero relationship between Dave King and I would probably say the majority of the Rangers board. I think the fact that he came out, I can't even mind when he came out putting his hand up to be chairman, and the first that the Rangers board knew about it was when he went to the press. I mean, if you're wanting to put your hand up and you have a dialogue, you do it behind closed doors. This dealing with things in public, I think it only highlights the fact that there's no relationship there and there's no common ground between Dave King and the people on the board at this moment in time. I think it's going to run and run, to be honest. I get this feeling it's an unnecessary distraction for me. Whilst I do agree with a lot of what he said with regard to decisions and what have you, I think there's a way to go about it, and I don't think playing it out via the media. And the manager's going to be asked about this at his press conference today.
Yeah,
he shouldn't be having anything at all to do with it. He's got enough to do, try to put a winning Rangers team on the park.
No, I agree, Cammy. I think it kind of highlights the fact for me that, again, probably a lack of relationship. Why continue to put things out in the press? Obviously, his interview with Jim White and Simon Jordan earlier this week, or the end of last week, was obviously talked about as well. But for me, again, it maybe goes back to what we discussed before, and in the group chat. Is it really Rangers standard that he's coming out and doing all this kind of in the public domain rather than handling the discussions and the business behind closed doors, which is the way we would probably prefer it to be? As much as fans, we want to know what's going on with the club and having more transparency, like, as we've discussed before, but maybe not in this manner. And again, bringing out kind of sensational comments like the 50 million, as you said, that could go towards anything within the club. That's not just putting 50 million pounds in at the playing side. That could be stadium upgrades. That could be X, Y, and Z, adding to the footprint around Ibrox and the surrounding area. That could be deemed anything. It's not just the playing side. And I agree. I think it's unfair to pose those questions to the manager at the press conference today. But again, that will be on the lips of at least some reporters within that press conference. So it'll be interesting to see how the manager discusses it, if it is discussed. I doubt it'll be in any great detail, but there are far more positive things to try and put our minds and eyes to, considering the weekend ahead.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't,
yeah,
just quickly, I don't disagree that we need fresh investment. I don't disagree that we need fresh ideas. Do I believe that is Dave King? No. Am I eternally grateful for Dave King and what he has done for Rangers Football Club in the past? No doubt at all with regard to that. Dave King has been trying to sell his Rangers shares for the last 2 to 3 years. He stepped back to concentrate on his businesses. He's now, only 12 months ago, he was talking about how James Bisgrove was a really smart operator, a good appointment as the CEO, and the club was in decent shape. What's changed inside a year? To be honest with you, for us fans that are in Scotland, and what's happened this summer has been in the background for the last 2 to 3 years. We've all known that the wage bill's been too high and decisions that have been made have been poor. So I think he speaks about the recruitment of a CEO. I think it was a CEO, he said, and using a recruitment agency or an executive agency. He says that's expensive. In my opinion, that should have happened as soon as James Bisgrove was leaving. But the fact that we've muddled along for the last 3.5 months, John Bennett's been in situ whilst clearly suffering ill health. This we should be far along if we had dealt with it properly by employing professionals that can bring in the right people. So I don't agree with aspects of what Dave King says. I've always been frustrated by Dave King's method of communication, and that he says plenty, says headlines, talks about EGMs, an EGM that he knows as it stands he's got no chance of winning, try to play the fans against the boards sort of thing, but we could sit here, and I don't want to waste this next hour just talking about Dave King, because I think there's going to be plenty of pods over the next while where we're going to be able to delve into it in further detail. He has merit in some things that he says, but it's the truth as always lies somewhere in between for me.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree, Cammy. I think what as we've said, it's going to rumble along for the next few weeks and months ahead until there's an AGM or until a chairman and CEO are put in place. So again, the hope is that that's sooner rather than later. Again, I don't disagree. I think the moment that James Bisgrove made it apparent that he was going to take this job in Saudi, there should have been someone either lined up to take over in his place, or they should have started that consultancy or recruitment, process at that point rather than. And maybe they did. It's just obviously not come to light because we're now so far down the line, 3 or 4 months later, that we've still not appointed anybody. So again, it's that mismanagement or lack of management to not have brought someone in by now, or not to have a leading candidate to replace him. In understanding, again, obviously point out that we wish John Bennett well in having to step down due to personal health reasons. But again, the concern is that we're now going to have to wait another period of time before a chairman is put in. I know that John Gilligan's taken interim charge, but again, it's about stability. We've discussed that in many pods, Cammy, that we're looking for more stability within and around the club, and it's just another glaring highlight to the world that we're not as stable as we either think we are or as we want to be. So
that's the thing. I never wish to draw comparisons to across the city, but the reason that they are continually winning trophies and they are in a sound financial footing is they have a structure in place.
Yeah.
They have clear visions and things that they want to do and that sort of thing. And over the course of the negligence and the poor decision making since the summer of 2021 leaves us where we are 3 years on, and that's before we even get started on Dave King's talking about Steven Gerrard, so it's well, if you want to talk about that, I'll talk about it, but again, it's the truth lies somewhere in between. I think the fact that he's trying to say he was kicked out the door. No, I don't think that was. He wasn't dragged kicking and screaming. I think there was a lot went on across that summer with regard to the budget. You can remember Gerrard's comments after we won the league. To invest while you're on top. He didn't want to sell any new players. He obviously got frustrated because the money wasn't there. Opportunities then came up for him to go on. So it's. He wasn't kicked out the door to Aston Villa, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think we'll draw a line under that part of it, Cam. I don't want to keep going on about that this particular part of the pod. We've definitely got more positive things to discuss in today's pod. So we'll move on to the best aspect of the weekend is that we are going home to Ibrox to play Dundee in the League Cup game. I believe it's a 5 o'clock kickoff on Saturday, or tomorrow. So thoroughly looking forward to getting back. I've not managed to get my season ticket seat placed in the Sandy Jardine stand, so looking forward to going to the game. What about yourself?
5:30 kick-off. Obviously, TV rules. It's usually we usually get bumped to the Sunday. That's the last couple of games we've had 5:30, and I quite enjoy that kick-off time back in the day before children and having a life and all that sort of stuff. You'd have been in the boozer for lunchtime sort of thing, But it's take the wee man to the game, and these are the ideal games I think for anybody with kids to introduce their kids along to Ibrox. The crowd is not going to be a sellout, but it's the feeling. I'm excited about going back to Ibrox, seeing the people that sit round about me, and just a bit of normality. I think the novelty of Hampden wore off probably within about the first 20 minutes of the first game there. And it's great to be back, and we've got a wee run of home games coming up, and you want Ibrox to do what it can do and help this team settle and get some victories and try to build some momentum.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's definitely probably from more so from the fans' point of view. I mean, again, I know I kind of touched on this in the group chat, but for me, it'll hopefully lift the fan spirits going home and being part of the Ibrox atmosphere once again, and hopefully that will then seep in and bleed into the players. Actually going home. I mean, obviously some of these players haven't played Ibrox before. The likes of obviously the new signings over the summer. Proper. I know mentioned it in his post match reaction at the weekend about the atmosphere from the away fans at Dundee. So again, I think he's looking forward to the home game this weekend. Hopes that likes of Czerny and Egaman and obviously Barami as well that have come in over the summer. So again, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be interesting to see what the team lineup is. Considering it is a cup game, I'm not sure how many changes he'll make. I know last season he didn't really make too many changes, Cammy. So maybe just moving on quickly to what you think the lineup will be. Will he make a lot of changes? Will he keep it relatively similar to what was it? Was it Tynedice and Sunday last week?
It's a hard one to judge, to be honest with you. I would expect Czerny to come back in. Obviously, he was ill last weekend, so hopefully that's just been a short term thing. I would certainly expect him to come back in for Dill. I don't see 7, 8, 9 changes, but we play Malmo Thursday, we play Hibs the Sunday after, we play Lyon, then we've got a league game. So it is a busy schedule coming up. I think there'll be an element of freshening it up. I don't think that I think this is the ideal game, and we're not going down a TAV discussion, but I think this is the ideal sort of game to start Dujon Sterling at right back.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't think TAV started the season brilliantly, but I just think these are the sort of games, if you're going to manage, if TAV's going to be here for the season, I think that's going to happen. TAV as it stands is still our right back. I think you have to pull him out on occasion to try and get him back to somewhere near his best form. So that's certainly a change I would make. Robbie Fraser, I think I would quite like to start, because I think he's going to be expected to start on Thursday against Malmo, because obviously Jeffy's suspended and Ridvan's still. So that'll be interesting to see if he goes the other way. He plays Jeffy. I just think that Robbie Fraser, if he's going to be expected to start the European game, I think it would be sensible. Although if he gets injured, then who plays left back? So Egaman, I would love to see start. I don't think he's in a position fitness-wise that he could play maybe more than an hour. So you might find he might start and play 45 to 60 minutes. I would certainly like to see that, and see Bajrami playing as well. Cortez get another 45 to 60. But I want us to start strong enough that we can I always think start as strong as possible and then make changes, try and get the game won. But it'll be interesting. But I think you'll see 3 or 4 changes just to, and I'm not giving you a starting 11, but I think that's me sitting on the fence. I think 3 or 4 changes just to freshen it up, I think will undoubtedly happen.
Yeah, I don't. Again, I can only agree, Cammy. I think for myself, again, I'd like to see. I suspect Robbie Fraser probably will start again, as you say, just in lieu of having to potentially start the European game on Thursday. So it makes more sense for him to get a bit more game time with the first team. It'll be interesting to see if he rotates Butland and Kelly. Again, he didn't do it last season. He kept Butland in for all the cup games as well as the league games. So I'm kind of hoping in a way that Kelly does get some game time. And else he's I say wasted on the bench. He needs to get some game time, I think.
I think you're right, though. I think these are the games that we all thought that he was going to get, sort of thing, But you've also got the thing. I don't think Butland started the season brilliantly well.
Yeah.
So, you might want to change the goalkeeper to give him a game, but do you want to try and keep a bit of consistency in the back? In the back line, but only the manager knows what he thinks is the best approach.
Sure. No, I know. Again, just as you said, I think I would hope to see Egan and Bayrami start. Cortez hopefully get some time in the legs as well as Cherny. Hopefully the illness that he's got, he's recovered from. I'm sure we'll probably find out today later on at the press conference who's fit and available. Again, it'll be interesting that the right back slot. Does he bring in Sterling? Does he bring in Big Casa, as we've lovingly nicknamed him on the pod?
Yeah, see, to
Yeah,
be honest with you, I quite fancied him in the starting lineup, but I have not. I still haven't done pronunciation school, so
yeah, yeah,
that's why I took the easy one and went for Big Dujon.
yeah. Big decision, I know. So yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. I mean, I guess I think from what we discussed, I think last week, the week before, Big Casa he can play centre back and right back. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes in potentially beside Proper, gives Suter a break, and again, just because we've got the game on Thursday in Malmo, I would like to see some changes. I wouldn't like to see wholesale changes, as you said. I think 7 and 8 would be too much. It might disrupt the kind of rhythm of the team. But as you say, start strong. Hopefully, get the result in the bag. Kind of within that hour, and then make the 4 or 5 changes, just to keep the players fresh for the Thursday night game. So yeah, it'll definitely be an interesting one. Obviously, as you said, it's not a sellout, so hopefully there'll be a few more folk turn up knowing that their seats available. So again, it's just adding to that first game back at Ibrox and adding to the atmosphere, Cam. I think the atmosphere when the players come out the tunnel, even for the warm up, will probably be electric. So yeah, looking forward to it.
It's funny you say the warm up. When I go to the games myself, I never go in. I'd never go in early, but the wee
Sure.
man is a typical wee boy. Wants to see
Yeah.
the players doing their drills and all that sort of stuff. So
Sure.
you can't underestimate how big a part of our life going to Ibrox is. And when it's taken away, I've still not been to. I've still not seen Walter Smith's statue. I've only seen
Okay.
it. I've not seen it in the flesh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think I'm looking forward to seeing that. Take the wee man to see the statue as well, and what have you.
Yeah. No, I've been fortunate to go up and see it, and it's definitely a sight to behold, Cammy. So again, hopefully you get to see that tomorrow afternoon. I think hopefully it'll be a good game. I know Dundee are in a wee bit of, I was going to say a wee bit of form. I'm not quite sure how their league season started, but it'll definitely be a tough game from Tony Docherty's side. I think with that, I know you said you weren't going to give a predicted lineup, but do you have a score line in mind?
I think we'll win 3-0. I think getting a positive early start. I think we played really well the first 20-25 minutes last week. I think it's starting with an intensity, moving the ball about. I think if you can get a couple of goals up by half time, which is what I think will happen, and then we can then make the changes. So I think 3-0. I think it'll be a competitive game. They always give us a relatively hard game. But I think
Yeah.
it's really important that we try to use the Ibrox factor to try to build some momentum, try and get the without going all Philip Clement, get the synergy back between the players and the support, because it's been a tough last few months with being away from Ibrox and a lot of negativity. And as much as I have a lot of concerns about a lot that's going on, we can't change what's past. We just have to try to look forward and try to win games of football. The only way you can build momentum is winning games of football, and this is a way to get us into a semi-final and back to Hampden. The only time you want to go to Hampden's semi-finals and finals. So it's a home tie. 3-0 would be my prediction, and as a team selection, I think won't be massively different. I think it'll be a player here, a player there. I don't think it'll be we don't have the depth of squad that allows us to give a whole new 11. And I think if we did do a whole new 11, I think it could we could cause ourselves some problems if we did do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, as you say, we've got a run of games now at Ibrox, so again, we're having been starved of it for so long. We're now going to have a kind of feast of football at the home at Ibrox. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be missing the Hibs game, but looking forward to the game tomorrow, and then the game against Leon I think it's the following week on the 3rd. So yeah, it's definitely gives us a chance, as you said, to start building that momentum. Hopefully, some people might say, "Oh, the season starts now," because we're finally back at Ibrox and getting a chance to, get the relationship back to being a far more positive atmosphere and surrounding between the club and the fans, and hopefully that then allows us to march forward and progress both in the cup and obviously make up hopefully some ground in the league with the games coming up, and obviously making an impression in Europe. I know that it's been an interesting one this week, just as an aside with the Champions League games, the fact that it is an actual league, so it'll be interesting to see after that first round of fixtures where we lie.
You're right. I was looking at the Champions League. I was sitting getting the kids ready for school this morning, and the Champions League table came up, and the wee man's still not quite grasping how it's working out.
Yeah.
But when they had it like the top 8 and then 9 to 24, and then the ones on the right hand side that were shown as eliminated, and we were looking at it after the first round of fixtures and saying, well, I think Real Madrid and Man City are out with the top 8 just now.
Yeah.
But we're saying, right, they'll be in the. You're trying to forecast what it's going to look like, and I think it's going to be interesting. I think we've got an opportunity in the early matches to, I think, put ourselves into a reasonably decent position. I think we've got some home fixtures, and I think the away tie on Thursday's vitally important that we get off to a good start. But I'm looking forward to a new setup. I think the old group stages had become a bit tired. So I think I'm all for UEFA trying to. Obviously, it's been done to try and stop a Super League sort of thing, and I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but I'm quite looking forward to that, the league aspect of it, and it's just different. Instead of playing Tottenham home and away, you're only going to play them at Ibrox, which. As we done the pods when the draw was made, I would love to have went to the Tottenham Stadium, but I think that just makes things a wee bit different, rather than what we've been used to over the years.
Yeah, no, exactly. Just it puts a bit of fresh impetus into the games. Again, looking forward to the Malmo game on Thursday. I think there's a bit of in my opinion, there's a bit of needle there, considering the last time we went to Malmo, we were put out the Champions League qualifier. So hopefully this time we'll get a far more positive result in that game. And thankfully they don't have a striker named Cholak to upset us this time. So yeah, looking forward to it. But yeah, I think that was kind of all we had in terms of the match preview. Cam, anything else you want to kind of add to that before we kind of move on?
I don't think so. I think being back to Ibrox, I mean, we've obviously seen loads of the images with regard to the seating and all that sort of stuff. Looks as though it's pretty much there. I think the Copeland Rear, they're obviously trying to get everything in place so that the Hibs game, it's back to a full Ibrox, But I think the work that they've done for the disabled fans looks great, and I think if we can if we have learned the lessons from the mistakes that have been made, it certainly enhances the experience for those supporters. And I think it's only when you see the Broomlin and the Copeland now you can actually see the difference with the cantilever. So as much as the way that this we've came to this situation hasn't been ideal, I think it has improved. That it's made Ibrox better, and those people that have had such a tough run of it with regard to where they've had to watch the games over the years, they're going to get a better match day experience, which is long overdue. So this is one thing I know from a friend who's a disabled supporter, sits in the East Enclosure, and he was at an event a couple of years ago, local, and John Bennett actually spoke to him at that. And John Bennett's taken a lot of criticism for a lot of things. He made a promise to my friend Jim at that point that the facilities will be improved for him. So I'm delighted for him, as well as everybody else that's affected, that they're going to be able to be under a cover. They're not going to be soaked and all that sort of stuff. Because we're all as entitled to go to a game and watch it in the best way possible. So I'm just looking forward to getting back, and there's no really get back to Ibrox, see the people that you sit with. I won't be the only one that's thinking that. Get back into the match day routines that you do when you go to Ibrox and see a Rangers team winning. That's all that I want to see tomorrow night.
Yeah, agreed. I think it'd be interesting for any of the viewers or the members out there that that are disabled fans and that are going to be positioned. Again, obviously, you can maybe give some feedback on this, Cammy, yourself from your pal Jim. But if you get in touch and let us know how your experience was using it for the first time, if there was still any issues or anything that you thought was positive in terms of where it's obviously situated, the view, all that type of stuff. If you want to get in touch and leave us a comment on any of the social media channels, we can obviously add it into the pods, probably in the reaction pod and over the weekend and into next week. So yeah, it'd be great to hear from anyone out there that's going, that will be utilising that, or friends of folk that are going to utilise it, just to give us that feedback so we can obviously present it on the pods and look to get it out there for the kind of general fan base. But yeah, as you say, Cammy, just in general, looking forward to going back to Ibrox, and I know I'm not in the seat I was expected to be in, but I'm looking forward just to actually seeing hopefully some pals and kind of getting reacquainted again after a very, 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 very long summer. But yeah, I think that was everything from the kind of match preview side. I know we had a couple other items. I know I seen during the week that the B team had progressed in the SPFL Trust Trophy. They won 5-0 against Fraserburgh, and they're going through to the next round to play Stenhousemuir. I think it's at Stenhousemuir. Cammy can correct me if I'm wrong.
That is.
But again, that's obviously a positive one, and I know I mentioned in the chat that the Rangers B team are the last B team to be in the competition, going into the round of 16. So and that's another accomplishment for the young team, and hopefully they get to progress towards the latter stages in that cup competition. I know I've still not really had a lot of information on what their programme is going to be for the year. I know William from the group chats kind of went to a couple of games, but I'm not sure if you've heard anything, Cammy, regarding the kind of B team programme. If there's any, I know there's a couple of upcoming fixtures, but there's been nothing kind of confirmed as a kind of long term plan for this season.
No, it just looks as though it's more of the same. But I think the whole thing that the players at that level need, and those like Willie that go and watch the games, it needs to be a regular set of games. I think for January to the end of last season, I think it was like 5-6 games, which it's just not acceptable. I think this is why the SPFL Trust is so important. These guys are getting the opportunity to play proper games of football, proper competitive games in front of a crowd. I'm not a great fan of bounce games that are training ground, whether it's first team or anything, and I just don't think it mirrors. I don't think it mirrors the real match experience. So Stenhousemuir, that's my local team. The fixture I think is scheduled for the international break of, I think, around about the 12th of October. don't think it will happen on that date, because I would imagine that Rangers will have players away on international duty, which obviously meant that the Fraserburgh game got moved to a midweek game. So I hope to get along. I hope to get along to that one when it actually happens, and hopefully it'll be a tough game. Stennismuir I've started the season pretty well in League One, and I think that's the challenges that these young guys that you want them to be facing in a competitive fashion. You know, it would be brilliant if they could go really deep into this competition. To be honest with you, you know, imagine lifting the trophy, or not want to look too far ahead, but I think it's good that we're not just getting bumped out in the first round. I think it's good that we're. I'm just looking at Curry's comment there. Who has the decision on where the B team plays? Well, I think, as in obviously the Lowland League was then. I think Michael Beale was the manager at the point, and I think the decision by the club, the strategic decision by those in power at that point, Zeb Jacobs and Michael Beale, was that the Lowland League wasn't the place for to bring that pathway sort of thing, and that's no, But I always think if that's not what you believe, then you have to have something substantial in as an alternative. And I think we're still 15 months down the line since we came out of the Lowland League. I still think we're scrambling about trying to play games programmes and friendlies down at Blackburn and Luton and all these sort of things. I think this forms part of the wider discussion about the football operation and who does have the overall decision. I would believe that the manager spoke a few weeks ago about B teams, and I think he spoke about his own experience over on the continent and what they do over there. Scottish football is in the dark ages. We know how Rangers would love to have a B team that could progress through the divisions, as I'm sure Celtic and Hearts and other teams would like, but they're not going to vote. As they all say, Turkey's voting for Christmas. That's not going to happen. But I think as a football club, we spend a lot of money on our academy operation. We need to be better at it, and I don't think we get value for. I don't think, as it stands, we get value for the annual costs. And personally, if my wee boy, when he reaches 14, 15, shows the ability to be a professional footballer, he wouldn't be going to Rangers as it stands just now. So we've got a lot of work to do with regard to improving the pathway and the academy setup. And I think the fact that they're just playing glorified kickabouts just now is, I think it's a problem down south as well, to be honest. I think they've got an under-23 league, but I don't think that's any more competitive and any better a pathway to bring in young players through. But it's something that Scottish football, Rangers and Scottish football, need to get better at. Certainly the big clubs, I don't think we're doing anywhere near enough to bring young players through.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I'm sure there was obviously talk, as you said, probably by the manager, that you look at the likes of La Liga, the fact that they've got their B teams in kind of second, third divisions of Spanish football, allows them to bring through the likes of the Pedris and the Gavis and the Yamals that have all probably played for that that B team to bring them through. And people think that we're why can we not do the same? And what as you said, Cammy, we're shooting ourselves in the foot because we're not willing to change the structure of the game. And I know that probably leads to a wider discussion, which we probably won't be able to cover on this particular point. I'm sure it's something we could cover in another one. But as you said, it's the structure. It's it's like that self-interest that we're just looking out for ourselves. We're not looking at the kind of bigger picture. And I think that's why just as you said, we're so far down the the food chain in terms of producing quality players. Again, the likes of, as you say, even in the summer transfer window, the likes of McTominay and Gilmore going to Italy to get that different footballing experience, having played the English Premiership football, which again has obviously helped him in good stead. But you're looking at it and going, even from our perspective, Billy Gilmore's probably the last player that we've produced that's kind of went on and not even had a chance in our first team. It's went down south to Chelsea and had obviously great success from there. We've not, neither ourselves nor Celtic, you could say, have really had that type of player come through over the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years that has went on to greater success. That's come through the youth academy. I mean, we could probably argue Kieran Tierney, but again, it's one or two in a generation. There's no kind of production line for more players.
See, the one thing for me, and I've said this on previous podcasts, I think that we have to. Not everybody has to be Barry Ferguson. Not everybody has to be that Nathan Patterson. See if you can bring through players that can be your. See, I'll use Robbie Fraser as a great example. Robbie Fraser's worked really, really hard to get the opportunities. Not went out on loan. He's just kept going. These guys should be the supplemental players within a squad. We shouldn't be going. No, this isn't a criticism of Kieran Dowell, but see making signings like Kieran Dowell and paying guys like that £20,000-25,000 a week. You should be able, and he's only a squad player. You should be able to bring a Bailey Rice through. Bailey Rice is a really, really good player, but your Cole McKinnons and guys like that should be they should be a stable part of the squad, and you should be able to churn through. And at the same time, you might get that nugget of a top player that the English teams don't grab at the first opportunity. But I think we as a club, we need to be serious also that the pathway is there.
Yeah.
That we actually, if a player is actively good enough, that we have to give them the opportunities within the squad and in cup games. And actually, it's another podcast. You look at the comparison between Bailey Rice and Lennon Miller. Only 2 or 3 years ago they were at the same level, and you can see what's happened there. But just to get back to the original point, we've managed to talk quite well about this. But the original point, great for the B team, great for the people that go and watch them regularly, that they're getting to see this, and I look forward to getting to the Stennismuir game when it happens.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's only positive for them, Cammy, that they're getting to continue competitive matches in a cup competition. It's just unfortunate that we've not really got a league or a regular set of fixtures for them to fulfil to kind of help aid their progression into the first team and hopefully grab the catch the eye of the manager. But I do agree. I think like Cole McKinnon, Zach Lovelace, your Bailey Rices, even Mason Munn as the keeper. They should all. I know they're all getting regular interaction with the first team squad, but it would definitely help their progression to be in and around and getting maybe more game time. And again, that it comes back to what the pod's about. We may see them on the bench or for tomorrow's game if there's a couple of changes to that first team lineup. So yeah, but then it'd be interesting to see how they progress. Again, the likes of even as you said, even Ross McCausland as a first team player. Again, he's good as a supplement. A supplementary player on the bench. But we need to start bringing more players through of good quality. I know, as you said, they can't all be the likes of Barry Ferguson, Nathan Patterson that have that kind of exceptional talent to.
But I think you're spot on. Ross McCausland, I think's the sort that you're talking about. Ross McCausland instead of Scott Wright. Sort of situation, It's that. So it's that's. But it's if that's the approach that we're going to we've obviously changed the approach across this summer, you know, and then if things continue in that way, and you know, we have to try and be patient and give the people that are in charge at the moment the opportunity to put the steps in place.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's again, it's only something we can hope and dream for, Cammy. I think, yeah. I mean, I guess we're I say rapidly running out of things to talk about. I think the only other thing that I seen in the news this week was it's obviously been heavily publicised is the extension of the partnership with the Kindred Group, which have 32 Red and Unibet within their stable of companies. I know there had been a lot of discussion in the group chat and around social media regarding the numbers and how it's probably the best front of shirt deal that's been done in Scottish football for us anyway. So yeah, I think there was a kind of 80%. I said figures banding around. It was an 80% increase in terms of obviously money and costs. So maybe just get your thoughts on that. Do you think it's a good deal?
I think I've only seen bits and pieces about it. I think I'm not a huge lover of gambling sponsorships, but that's the world that we live in. And I think the previous deals, I think that this was around the James Bisgrove era of increasing our commercial income. Anything that increases that further can only be looked as a positive. But
Yeah,
we need to spend the money better. That's the
yeah,
that's the we need to get value for money in wages. We need to get value for money in what we're spending we're spending the increase. If the turnover in the commercial deals are increasing, it's, you know, there's no any point putting it up, pissing it up against a wall sort of thing. That's probably
yeah,
the closest to a swear word I've ever got. That was especially for
yeah,
Curry, that one. But I think it's just about using the increased revenues, and I think we've obviously got the Castor deal, I think, is next year. So there's
yeah,
obviously, I think there'll be a lot going on, a lot of discussions. We obviously talk about it within our own group. I think we're in a far stronger position to get a better kit deal as well, because you've got the business that we have done since, I think it was the COVID summer that kicked off.
yeah,
I think that should be a good deal as well, and it's about then using the money to do the infrastructure projects properly, spend
yeah,
wisely on contracts and fees and wages and all that sort of situation. So yeah, it seems there's a strong relationship between 32 or Kindred and Rangers that's obviously been extended further. I think that's probably what will happen with Castor as well. I think that they've lost a few major deals, and I know we speak about it a lot. A lot are desperate to get Nike or Adidas or something along those. But ultimately, it'll come down to who puts the biggest and best deal on the table, and
yeah.
the best offering. But on that subject, I see that Castor released a new range this morning. I'm sure I got an email
Right.
to advise me about the League Cup range. I'm not actually
Well,
joking. There is a new range that's came out, but as one of my mates said, we'll see that in April or May when it comes down to £15 in the club
yep.
shop. That's the only time I buy any of the 52 ranges that they've got, you know. But
Yeah.
sounds positive, and the more money we can bring in and spend it better, that can only be a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's, as you say, it's a positive deal for the club. It brings obviously some more revenue into the income side of things. I just hope, as you said, it gets spent, in a far better manner than what's been done in the past. But yeah, I think think that's everything we've got to cover. I didn't think we were going to make it to 50 minutes, Cammy, but we've made it.
We've done well. I can talk right enough, so it's
That's
I always go off on a tangent. You talk about something, and then it brings up another conversation, you know. But I thoroughly enjoyed the chat on a Friday, and it's been good. We just get the rest of Friday out the road and look forward to getting back to Ibrox tomorrow.
Yeah, agreed. So just give your last thanks. Anything further before we close out the pod?
No, it's thanks for the interaction and the comments, and thanks, as you said at the start, hitting 2,000 subscribers in the space of 6-7 months is a phenomenal achievement. So it's let's onwards and upwards. Just keep growing and growing, and if you enjoy what you see, we're on regularly. Tell your pals, you're going back to Ibrox, talk to the boys and girls that sit next to you at Ibrox about the Rangers Journal, and just promote what we're doing, and we'll continue to do our best and give good content.
Yeah, exactly. And again, probably if you see any of us around Ibrox tomorrow, don't be afraid. Always, happy to say hello to anybody that might see us that's fans of the pod. So again, that's always a pleasure to kind of go and chat about the Rangers, Cammy. So again, just want to thank. I think we've had nearly 200 folk watching the pod this afternoon. So thanks very much for watching us. Again, thanks to all the interaction and the comments. Obviously, we've tried to kind of show everybody. Probably just say a thanks to the Sniper as a new member. So thanks very much for joining the team. Hopefully you've enjoyed the content. There's plenty more content coming out over the weekend. We'll have the match reaction on Sunday, and then pods into the next week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We'll definitely have plenty of content coming out. But as I say, thanks again for the opportunity to get us to 2,000 subs. As Cammy said, once you get to Ibrox, talk to all your friends, talk to everybody around you. Let's help get those numbers up. But I think with that being said, Cammy, thanks very much for joining us today. We'll wrap up with our old adage of every night is a Rangers Journal night. Thanks.